Good morning and welcome to another episode of Drew's Book Reviews. So today's video is going to be a little bit different. It's not a book review, but as you know, I talk a lot or read a lot of science fiction and fantasy. But today I want to talk a little bit about a different type of book that I look forward to reading. And I've got several on my shelf for this because I do believe that reading regularly is more than just about a good story. So today we're going to talk about my non-fiction TBR pile that I plan on reading. So if you're interested in seeing what I'm going to be reading from a non-fiction books, stay tuned. Reading is fun. Reading is awesome. We could learn so much from reading, even within the science fiction and fantasy genres. We could learn a lot about philosophical ideas and concepts that can be discussed and explored through our characters' perspective in the overall story arc. These are wonderful things. I've learned a lot from reading those books about a lot of different ideas and perspective and views. And those are all wonderful things. But definitely reading regularly should also be about learning something new, about bringing us to a bigger, better, and brighter understanding of the world in which we live, the universe, and how things work in reality. So because of that, I'm trying to read more nonfiction so that I can expand my knowledge base, my understanding of our universe and how that works in the world around us, both in terms of philosophical ideas as well as scientific principles and ideas. Now, I do have a nonfiction playlist on this channel. I'll try to remember to link that below. So I have read some nonfiction already, but today's video, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the nonfiction books that I've currently got on my TBR pile that I plan on reading. Now, this is in no particular order. I don't have a set schedule or time frame as to when I will get to these books, but these are the things that I plan on reading in an effort to, continue to explore and learn more about our universe and the world around us. Again, in no particular order. The first one I've got here is Brian Greene, The Hidden Reality. So Brian Greene is a theoretical physicist. He runs a channel called World Science Festival right here on YouTube. I'll try to link that one below as well. It's a channel I follow some really great content about, physics and the universe and these concepts. So this one's about the parallel universes and the deep laws of the cosmos. So this is going to be a very interesting read as we learn more about the nature of reality and the physics in the universe and how it came to be. I've really enjoyed Brian Greene's content on YouTube, so I have no doubt that his books will also be an enjoyable, educational, and entertaining read. It's one of a couple of Brian Greene books that I currently have on my TBR shelf. So this being the first one, the next one that I have from Brian Greene is The Elegant Universe. So this one is all about superstrings, hidden dimensions, and the quest for the ultimate theory. So of course, physics is constantly looking for the ultimate theory of everything, something that explains the entire underlying reality of the nature of the universe. Because while there are many theories within the quantum physics realm, some of them even contradict each other, and yet evidence would suggest that they're both true. So Superstrings, Hidden Dimensions, and the Quest for the Ultimate Theory by Brian Greene, The Elegant Universe. This is another one I'm really looking forward to reading. I have no doubt it's going to be a fantastic read. So again, by Brian Greene, another great book on physics. I have no doubt will be a good read. So another one I'm certainly interested in getting to. And then we have Homo Deus, A Brief History of Tomorrow. So this is kind of the follow-up to Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari. This being the follow-up, Sapiens being discussing the history of humanity, where we came from and how we got to where we are today. Homo Deus being a discussion about where we're going in the future, what's happened. I love this title, because Deus literally mean divine or divinity or God. So the book literally translates to being human gods, which is just an awesome title. So, Brief History of Tomorrow, where's humanity going? Where's it coming from? Where it came from, where's it going? It's it's going to be an interesting book and see where we go from here. One thing I really like about this, take a look at the cover here with the thumbprint. It's kind of designed like a microchip appearance and computerization. Definitely that's the kind of world we live in these days. So it'll be really interesting to see how that's all integrated into Yuval Noah Harari's ideas of where we're going in the future. So that'll be a really interesting read, I have no doubt. It's actually the one that's up next for me. So the next one is Carl Sagan, The Demon Haunted World. This is Science as a Candle in the Dark. So my understanding of this book is just talking about how the scientific realities and theories, how they help bring a light to a world of ignorance, and bringing that reality to the forefront of our minds so that we can have a better understanding of our world. So, Science as a Candle in the Dark, Carl Sagan. I've heard a lot about this book. Definitely something that is worthwhile reading. I've heard a lot of good things about this. Carl Sagan, of course, is a well-known scientist as well. It'll be really interesting to see what he has to say about, well, science being a light in the dark, essentially, for us. So that should be a really interesting read. So if you're noticing a theme with this, a lot of it has to do with science and some philosophy, which is still cool. It's kind of an area I'm highly interested in, this idea of astrophysics and quantum theory and that kind of thing. So the next one is another Brian Greene book. Brian Greene book. The Fabric of the Cosmos, Space, Time, and the Texture of Reality. So this, again, getting into the nature of our universe, the reality, its construction, and what the universe is made up of. So again, this one will be another really interesting read. Again, check out World Science Festival channel on YouTube. Great content there, run by Brian Greene. And his books are really, really interesting as well, I have no doubt. I haven't actually read a Brian Greene book yet, but again, I keep hearing some really, really good things about Brian Greene and his writing and his books. So I have no doubt it's going to be a good and interesting read. So yeah, The Fabric of the Cosmos, Space, Time, and the Texture of Reality. Looking forward to getting to that. So again, if you're noticing, it's a lot of physics stuff. So the next one is by Lawrence M. Krauss, The Greatest Story Told So Far. Why are we here? So this ought to be an interesting one. Just kind of talking about where we came from, where we're going, nature of reality, that kind of thing. So definitely the title itself seems to have more of a philosophical feel as far as why are we here. So it'll be really interesting to see what Lawrence M. Krauss talks about. Again, something I've heard a lot about. I'm not really sure what the concept or what the book's really about so far, but still definitely going to be an interesting read. It's gotten a lot of praise from people like Brian Greene as well with respect to this book. So Lawrence M. Krauss, The Greatest Story Ever Told So Far. That'll be an interesting one. Next up, we have another Yuval Noah Harari book, 21 Lessons for the 21st Century. So this talks about the challenges we face in the modern world as a people, as a species, in the 21st century. How are we going to overcome them? What can we do about it? And how are we going to make the world a better place? How can we just be better as people? So 21 Lessons for the 21st Century. This is going to be definitely an interesting read, an exploration of what it means to be human in an age of bewilderment, as the tagline on the back of the book says. Yuval Noah Harari, I really, really loved his book, Sapiens. I have no doubt I'm going to love Homo Deus, and so I figured I'd better follow up with 21 Lessons for the 21st Century by Yuval Noah Harari. So definitely looking forward to reading that one as well. Should be a good read. Next up, we have Life 3.0, Being Human in the Age of Artificial Intelligence by Max Tegmark. So Life 3.0. So all about humanity in the age of artificial intelligence. How do they intersect? How do they work together? Artificial intelligence is definitely a thing that is happening now, and it continues to progress, it continues to evolve, it continues to become better and more enlightened, and just overall advancing at even quite a rapid pace. So how do we maintain our humanity when our artificial intelligence that we've created is potentially surpassing us in terms of intelligence and capabilities. So this is going to be a very thought-provoking book. I mean, even just the title itself, Life 3.0, Being Human in the Age of Artificial Intelligence alone is a very interesting title. Definitely something that would be worthwhile reading, I think. That is definitely going to be interesting, no doubt about it. So again, kind of getting into technological and philosophical side of things. Max Tegmark. It should be interesting. I have no doubt about that. So one of the other ones I got here was Max Planck Niels Bohr Quantum Theory. Great works that shaped our world. So quantum theory here, this should be interesting. This one I'm not sure it's really written for the layman. I haven't actually looked into it, but I do know quantum theory is a subject matter in which I am interested. And of course, both Max Planck and Niels Bohr being, you know, some of the most famous names in science and quantum theory ever. I mean, they seem to be right up there with people like Albert Einstein. You know, both, I believe Planck and Bohr both have particles named after them, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken, I don't know. But regardless, quantum theories is subject I'm interested in, so I picked this one up, and we'll see if I'm able to even understand what it's talking about. Who knows? I mean, I'm still quite the layman of this stuff, but it's definitely an interesting subject nonetheless. Next up, we have a book on evolution. So this one, highly recommended, one of the most popular books on evolution of all time, The Selfish Gene by Richard Dawkins. So this comes highly recommended. I've heard nothing but good things about The Selfish Gene by Richard Dawkins. So that one is now on my TBR pile for my nonfiction. Evolutionary theory is certainly something I'm more interested in and would love to know more about. So this came highly recommended as a great book to read when it comes to discussing evolutionary theory. So Richard Dawkins, The Selfish Gene. This one happens to be the 40th anniversary edition. No doubt it's going to be interesting and a good read. I've already read some books on kind of evolution in the past. Well, that touched on it, weren't really focused on it. But again, check out my nonfiction playlist. It's got a lot of reviews on nonfiction books, both in terms of science and philosophy. And last up is, I mean, just the title alone caught my interest on this one. Mikio Kaku, I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that right, but Physics of the Impossible, a scientific exploration into the world of phasers, force fields, teleportation, and time travel. So this one ought to be interesting. Another physics books, but kind of looking at the physics of science fiction, essentially. These technologies that we often see in science fiction, can they exist in reality, and how would the physics of that actually work in a hypothetical reality? So this ought to be an interesting read as well. Physics of the Impossible. If you look at my channel, you know I like science fiction. I've got a lot of science fiction book reviews. So definitely an exploration to phasers, teleportation, shields, time travel, all that right up my alley. This is going to be a fun and interesting read, I have no doubt about it. So there you have it. There is my nonfiction TBR pile. These are the books on my shelf that I intend to read as I seek to learn more and understand more about the nature of reality in our universe, as well as some philosophical aspects. That is my nonfiction TBR. So, you know, let me know, like, do you read nonfiction yourself? What kind of nonfiction books are you interested in? Have you read any of these books? You know, let me know what you think down in the comments below. And of course, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And, you know, reading, all about learning too. Not just a good story, though good stories are great and fun and entertaining, absolutely. But when all said and done, I'm really looking forward to getting to these nonfiction books on my list. So definitely let me know what you think below. And until next time, keep on reading. Bye.